After 6 years together, my boyfriend told me he needed time to think. I gave him space, only to find out he had already proposed to another woman. This morning, his sister sent me a message that changed everything. I never thought I'd be the kind of person writing one of these posts. 6 years. That's how long Jason and I were together. 6 years of birthdays, holidays, inside jokes, and whispered plans for the future. I thought I knew him. I thought we were solid. Looking back, I could see the cracks now. The little moments I brushed off, the signs I ignored. But at the time, I trusted him completely. IT started a month ago. I remember the exact night because I had just finished baking his favorite lemon bars. Stupid, right? I was in the kitchen, pulling them out of the oven, excited to surprise him when he came home looking off. Not angry, not upset, just distant. I smiled at him, holding up the plate. Guess what I made? He barely glanced at them. Hey, we need to talk. Those words, we need to talk. I felt something cold settle in my stomach, but I forced a laugh. That sounds serious. Jason ran a hand through his hair. I've been doing a lot of thinking lately. He sat down at the table, and I followed, setting the plate between us. He didn't even take one. That should have been my first clue something was seriously wrong. I feel like I've been in this relationship so long that I don't even know who I'm outside of it anymore, he said, staring at his hands. I need some time to think. I blinked. Think about what? He sighed, like I was making this harder than it needed to be. Just everything. My future. Us. I need space to clear my head. I didn't know what to say. We weren't fighting. There was no big argument leading up to this. Just days before, he had kissed me on the forehead before work and called me his favorite person in the world. And now he was telling me he needed space? I swallowed. Are you breaking up with me? His head snapped up. No, no, it's not like that. He exhaled sharply. I don't want to make any big decisions until I know what I really want. It hurt. I won't lie. It felt like I was being benched in my own relationship. But I told myself he was just overwhelmed. That maybe this was something he really did need to do for himself. So I agreed. I packed a bag that night and went to stay with my best friend, Mia. Jason and I didn't set a time limit. He just said he'd reach out when he was ready. And for 2 weeks, I waited. At first, I kept my phone close, expecting him to text or call. But the messages that came were few and far between. A simple hope you're doing okay here, a thinking of you there. But nothing real, nothing that made me feel like I still mattered to him. Mia was skeptical from the start. I don't like this, she said one night as we sat on her couch, watching reruns of some reality show. What kind of guy asks for space out of nowhere after 6 years? I sighed. I don't know. He just seems so lost. She snorted. Lost my butt. He's stringing you along. I wanted to argue, but deep down, part of me wondered if she was right. Then, one night, everything changed. It was late. I was lying in bed, mindlessly scrolling through my phone, when Mia's sharp gasp made me sit up. Oh no, she muttered, staring at her screen. Oh, no, no, no. What? I asked, my heart already racing. She hesitated, then turned her phone toward me. At first, my brain couldn't process what I was seeing. It was Jason, down on one knee, holding a ring, and the caption read, "She said yes." For a moment, I thought maybe it was an old photo. Maybe someone had tagged him in a memory. Maybe, then I saw the date. It had been posted 2 hours ago. I couldn't breathe. Jason had needed time to think. He had asked for space. And in that time, he had gone and proposed to another woman. My fingers felt numb as I zoomed in on the photo, my mind scrambling for an explanation. And then I saw her. Vanessa, his childhood best friend. The one he had sworn I had nothing to worry about. And just like that, everything I thought I knew crumbled. Mia was already fuming. Oh, he is dead to me. Dead. I just sat there, staring at the screen, my world spinning. How long had this been going on? Had he been cheating on me? Was I the side piece this entire time? A dozen memories flashed through my head. The times Jason had randomly gone out with friends and wouldn't text back for hours. The way he had suddenly started keeping his phone face down on the table. The little things I had trusted him about, all now looking painfully obvious. I felt sick. For the next few days, I didn't do anything. I didn't call him. I didn't text. I barely slept. I was waiting for something, some explanation, some excuse, something, but Jason never reached out. Then, this morning, I woke up to a notification. A message from Emily, Jason's sister. She and I'd always gotten along, but we weren't especially close. So when I saw her name, my stomach twisted. I opened it. Her message was short. I know what Jason did. You deserve the truth. Call me when you can. I stared at the words, my heart pounding. What did she know? What truth was she talking about? I was about to find out. I took a deep breath, my fingers hovering over my phone. 1,000 thoughts raced through my mind as I debated what to do. Did I even want to hear what Emily had to say? Could I handle more betrayal? Mia sat up next to me, glancing at my screen. Call her. I swallowed hard and tapped Emily's name. She picked up after 2 rings. Hey, she said quickly, her voice tense. I'm so sorry. I wanted to call you sooner, but she hesitated. I wasn't sure if it was my place. I clenched my jaw. Your place? Emily, what's going on? She exhaled. Look, I don't know everything, but I do know Jason's been lying to you. For a long time. My stomach dropped. How long? A pause. Then, quietly, at least a year. My breath caught in my throat. A year. A year. I gripped the edge of the couch, feeling like the floor was tilting beneath me. Mia's eyes widened. Put her on speaker, she mouthed. I did. Emily continued. Jason and Vanessa, they never stopped talking. Even when she got engaged last year, they were still in contact. And when her relationship started falling apart, Jason was right there, waiting. I shut my eyes. So he was cheating on me. Emily hesitated. I don't think it was physical. Not at first, anyway. But emotionally, definitely. I let out a bitter laugh. Oh, great. That makes me feel so much better. She sighed. I swear, I only found out recently how bad it was. He told me he was figuring things out, but I had no idea he was going to propose. If I had, I would have said something sooner. I could hear the guilt in her voice, but I was too numb to care. Mia shook her head in disbelief. Wait, so let me get this straight. He kept his best friend on standby, strung Clara along for 6 years, then had the audacity to ask for space just so he could turn around and put a ring on another woman's finger? Emily hesitated. Yeah, pretty much. I clenched my jaw, my mind racing. All those times he had reassured me about Vanessa. The casual mentions. The way he had insisted they were just friends. I had believed him. I had trusted him. And all along, he had been waiting for the moment she was available again. I felt humiliated, chewed up and spit out like I was nothing. Emily lowered her voice. There's something else you should know. I braced myself. What? She hesitated. Vanessa's family is influential. You know her dad's a big shot in real estate, right? I nodded slowly. Yeah. Why? Well, Emily said carefully, let's just say, Jason's job situation has been less than stable lately. And suddenly, Vanessa's dad is offering him a business opportunity. Mia's jaw dropped. No way. No way. I felt sick. So this wasn't just about love. It was about money. He wasn't just choosing Vanessa. He was choosing the life that came with her. The family connections, the status, the security. Emily sighed. I wish I could tell you he's going to crash and burn, but he's playing his cards really well. He's already moved some of his stuff into Vanessa's place. And her dad? He loves Jason. Thinks he's a hardworking man with potential. My fingers curled into fists. Jason had spent 6 years telling me he wasn't ready for marriage, that he needed to be more stable first, only to throw a ring on Vanessa's finger the second she became available? Because her family could offer him a shortcut? I had never felt rage like this before. Emily's voice softened. I know this is a lot. I just thought you should know. I took a deep breath, trying to steady myself. Thank you, Emily. Yeah, she murmured. I really am sorry. I hung up. For a long moment, Mia and I just sat there. Then she turned to me. So, what's the plan? I exhaled slowly, my mind already working. Jason thought he had played me. He thought he had won, but he had no idea who he was dealing with. I could feel my blood start to boil, the raw anger bubbling up inside me. But there was no time for that. I wasn't just going to sit around and feel angry. Jason had made a choice, and I needed to take control of the situation before it spiraled further. I stood up and started pacing the room. My mind was firing on all cylinders, the weight of everything finally sinking in. Jason hadn't just hurt me. He'd lied to me for months, probably longer. Every smile, every hug, every word about the future had been a carefully crafted lie, part of his long con to keep me on a string while he figured out how to insert himself into Vanessa's life. I looked at Mia, who was watching me closely, her expression a mixture of concern and determination. Clara, are you sure you're ready to deal with this? I mean, this isn't just about breaking up. He's already with someone else. I nodded, my jaw clenched so tight I thought it might snap. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but I need to know exactly what's going on. I need the full picture. Mia stood and walked over to me, her voice soft but firm. You don't have to do this alone, you know. We'll figure it out. You're not going to let him get away with this, right? I didn't even have to think about it. No, I'm not going to just walk away from this. I deserve answers. I deserve closure. I picked up my phone again. I knew what I had to do. There was one person who could give me all the details, the one person who had seen it all unfold. Vanessa. I wasn't sure what kind of response I was expecting, but I wasn't prepared for how quickly she answered when I messaged her. Her reply came in under a minute. Clara, I'm sorry. I don't know how to explain this, but please don't do anything rash. Let's talk. I read her message a few times, the guilt in her words confusing me. What was she sorry for? She had no reason to feel sorry. She wasn't the one who had been betrayed. I almost snapped back with something sharp, but instead I stopped myself. There was a part of me that wanted to scream at her, accuse her, make her feel the same pain I was feeling. But another part of me realized that wouldn't help. I needed facts, not emotion. I took a breath and typed, I want the truth. No more lies, no more games. Tell me everything, Vanessa. A minute passed before she responded again. I owe you an explanation. I never meant for this to happen. Can we meet? I stared at the screen, my mind racing. The fact that she even wanted to meet was strange to me. Why would she want to explain anything to me when she knew the role she'd played in this mess? But I wasn't in the business of wondering. I wanted the truth, and I wanted it now. Where? I typed, my hands shaking. The coffee shop we used to go to together. In an hour? I didn't hesitate. I'll be there. The coffee shop was bustling when I arrived. I almost didn't recognize the place. It felt different now, more like a place where memories had been tainted by everything that had happened. I stood by the door, scanning the room for Vanessa. She wasn't hard to spot. She sat at a corner table, her hands folded nervously in front of her. She looked almost smaller than I remembered. I hesitated for a moment before walking over to her. She looked up when I approached, and for the first time, I saw real vulnerability in her eyes. Clara, she said quietly, standing up. I don't know how to do this. I know you're angry, and you have every right to be, but I never wanted to hurt you. I took a seat across from her, my heart pounding in my chest. You never wanted to hurt me? I repeated, my voice tight. Then why the hell did you sleep with him? Her face went pale. She shook her head, her eyes filled with regret. It wasn't like that. I swear. But it's complicated. Jason loves you, Clara. He really does. I almost laughed at that, a bitter, dry sound. And yet he asked for space so he could propose to you. Her shoulders slumped. I never meant for things to happen this way. He told me he needed time, and I respected that. I thought it was because of work. I didn't know he was struggling with his feelings for you. Not like this. But then, she paused, taking a shaky breath. When I saw him at a low point, after his job problems started piling up and he was feeling worthless, he came to me. We started talking again, and I guess it just happened. I was seething inside, but I stayed silent, letting her talk. She owed me this much. I'm not proud of it, Vanessa continued, her voice cracking. I knew he was with you. I know that he's always said you were the one he wanted. But when things with us started again, I don't know. I felt like I was finally getting something I'd always wanted. And when he proposed, it felt like he was finally choosing me, choosing us. I thought I could fix everything. I didn't realize how much damage we had done to you. It took everything in me not to stand up and walk out. This wasn't about love for her. This was about convenience. Vanessa had always seen Jason as her backup, her safety net. And now that her own relationship had fallen apart, she'd swooped in and taken what she thought was rightfully hers. I forced myself to breathe deeply before responding. Jason didn't need to choose you. He needed to choose me, but he didn't. He chose a life with you because you've got what he wants. He doesn't love me, Vanessa. He loves what you can give him. She flinched, and I saw the guilt flash across her face again. But this time, I didn't feel sorry for her. You didn't just break my heart, Vanessa, I said, my voice calm but ice cold. You destroyed everything I thought I knew about love. You destroyed us. And I don't know if I'll ever forgive either of you for that. There was a long pause as she looked at me, her face a mask of regret. But it was too late. I had to walk away. I stood up, my chest tight with emotion. There was no point in saying more. Vanessa could apologize all she wanted, but the damage was done. I could never look at her, or Jason, the same way again. I turned to walk out of the coffee shop, but before I reached the door, I stopped. I couldn't let Jason think he had the upper hand. I sent him one last text before I left, knowing it would be the final word in this chapter of my life. Congratulations, Jason. You got everything you wanted. But I hope you remember this. I won't be here when it all falls apart. Don't come back when things go south. It took him a minute to reply, but when the message popped up, I could see it was too late for him to fix things. Clara, I'm sorry. I love you. I'll always love you. I didn't even bother to respond. That night, Mia and I went out for drinks. I could feel the weight lifting off my shoulders with every passing hour. I was done with Jason, done with the lies. I wasn't going to sit around and wait for someone who couldn't even respect me enough to be honest. I had learned the hard way that love wasn't supposed to feel like a battle. It wasn't supposed to tear you down and leave you questioning your worth. Jason had shown me that he wasn't the man I thought he was. But what I came to realize as I sat there with Mia was that I wasn't the person I used to be either. I wasn't the naive, trusting woman I had been 6 years ago. I had grown, learned, and become stronger. And I would never let anyone take that away from me again. Am I the a-hole for confronting Vanessa and Jason the way I did? Should I have handled it differently? I'd love to hear your opinions. What would you do in this situation? Write your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more jaw-dropping stories like this one.